Hi everyone. Thanks for coming to the 11th day, and we have successfully crossed 10 days now. And today was a bit tricky for me. So finally I got um, Sonali here again. And hey Sonali, do you want to say quickly just a quick
Yeah.
introduction?
Hey everyone. I'm glad to be here again. And last time I came here, it was branding part of the app, and now the topic has grown really much further. So I'm excited for this session.
Awesome. So today, what are we going to do? So let's say today also it's going to be about something related to performance, and we have been looking at a lot on this. What do you call this? Class components, right? And I've been getting a lot of complaints that I'm still using the class components and not using the functional components with on-demand states and hooks. So let's do something on that. Okay, now let's start with a simple class component. And Sonali, since only you are here, I know that not many people are right now online, which is understandable. I want you at the same time. We are also looking at the people who are there and stuff like that. So that's we are doing our best. Hey,
Yes.
Crafty Happy is here. Hey, Crafty Happy. And yeah, so right, so we have got like just a couple of viewers, 4 viewers right now, and we respect that others will have other works as well, which is completely fine. So let's start with all the questions that you might have, and I'm going to start sharing my screen now so that we can directly jump into the whole, like the demo part, so that it is easy for everyone to go ahead. So as usual, I'm going to use this lazy thing called react.new, and let's go with that. Cool. Nice. So this is creating me a nice, like a VS Code kind of a layout. Cool. And this initially it starts with what do you call this? A functional component. So I'm gonna change this into class component with help of my VS Code. So I'll just quickly open VS Code, set the language to React and to RCC, and I've got app, export default app here. So I don't think I need to import React, but it's all right. Let's use that. So now the only thing that we are going to do is the styles are okay. So I'm just going to do this. Let me add class name as app and say in the paragraph.
I think there's some problem. People are commenting the live session has ended. Is there any issue?
I'm not sure. 1 second. Still online, right? Wait, let's see. No, it is online.
Yeah.
It looks like Anish has some problem. Maybe at Anish. Oops. Can you refresh the page? Okay, looks like everyone left us.
Because even my video is starting buffering.
For some reason, it is starting to buffer, but technically it is online. It is still online. So let's see. Let's wait and watch. Like it's going fine, I believe. If you refresh the page, I believe it should work, right?
Yes.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, so we have got this hey folks here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the styles.css and get rid of this text align center, which is not required. And for everything else, let's do font family, open sans, oops, and Sego, oops, Sego UI. So let me know if you have any questions. You get to ask anything. That's completely fine. And let's see. Okay, so now inside the app we don't need this thing as well, so let's get rid of these things. Let's do, yeah, this is enough for now. Now we have got this one, right? So this is the class component. So whenever you are starting with React or something like that, generally you start with class components, and class component looks like this, where you will be importing the React library then the component from React library, you create a class that you extend the component thing from React, and then you do a render function here. So that's exactly what is happening here. Okay, and
What does
now
render do?
whatever there is inside this thing, this is actually JSX. This is not JavaScript. This is
Okay.
JSX, and this thing inside the return function will most probably be HTML or HTML like stuff, and everything that is inside render will be displayed on the screen. For example, if you have hey folks inside div class name app, that is going to get returned as the HTML part. So if you see this one and then try to inspect this element and see this, so it starts to transpile. And if you inspect it, let me zoom it a bit, you could see that there is div class app and hey folks, that's what we have got it here. Okay, since we cannot use class is a keyword, we are going to
Yes.
use class name. Okay, so there are different types of components available. So this one is a class component, and if you do something with a function, for example, let's say I use func, and then I create a function which returns, say, uh, I am a functional component, and I put a slash p. So if I save this, and if I try to use this here like func, and if you see this, it's going to show me something like this. So it says, okay, transpile. It says I'm a functional component here. So you, the thing is, this one is going to be, this one does not have many things. Like for example, in case of like a class component, we have some lifecycle methods. Okay, so if you go to React lifecycle, and in the images, the biggest image is this one. So if you see this one, I'll make it big. So you can see that it has a lot of things, right? So when a React component gets mounted, it runs the constructor, then it does something called get derived states from props, then it does a should component update, then it does a render function, and then finally, once the render function is the one which actually shows the output onto the web page, and then finally you have got get snapshot before update. That's something like these things are all internal. Then you have the React will update all the DOM contents and the refs. Refs are the references for the DOM control. And then we have like component did mount, which gets rendered, which gets run, because this is an event kind of a thing. Okay, so whenever we run a website, we get to run this document ready function. So once everything is loaded, all the divs are present, all the images are present, then you start your programming part, which allows you to modify those things that are already there in the window, right? So that's exactly is component did mount. That is where you will be running the component did mount part. Okay, clear?
Okay, life cycle is whatever when the thing runs is
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens is the life cycle, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And we've got this one right now. So this app has got this only render function. So this can have state, which is a part of constructor you can call. Then we've got, what else do we have? We've got component did mount. So these are the two things that we are going to try to replicate in a functional component. So what happens in a normal component? Let's see. So this React, I mean, like VS Code has this problem recently for the past few days. We are getting some errors because of the latest build. So we need to like adjust with that, right? So we have got this one. So let's say we need to do something like a Ajax call to load something, load some data or something like that. Let's do one thing. We are two people, right? So let's create a small API folder. Okay, so from public we are using like API. Then inside the API we are using a file called users.json or something like that, where this is going to be an array of users. So I'll add with the name, and I'll put my name here, Praveen Kumar, and I'll put my location as well. So location, London, England, and I'll put yours now. Name, and it's Sonali, and oops. Then we've got your location. What's your location?
Mumbai.
Okay, so we've got these two things. Okay, now if I want to load this into my page, I will be using some kind of an Ajax call. Okay, so for that, all these Ajax calls are service calls and they need to be inside the component did mount. So for now, we will keep it very simple using a fetch API, and I'll just go to api/users.json. Then once I reach this, I need to first convert the response stream to response JSON. Then I would have the um, data as JSON data. Then this data can be like, for now I'll just try to do a console.log and see what exactly I'm getting from there. So I might get the statuses, etc. So if I click on the console here, I could see that there are two objects. Each object has got a name and location. Cool. So this is
Yes.
in our mission. We have, like, in our page, we have got it. Okay. So that's exactly
Why
what we
did
did.
we convert that?
Because initially here at this point, it would be a response stream. So let me show you what is this res. So if I save this way, oops, if I save this way, you can see that this is actually a response stream. You cannot use anything with this. There's no body or there is no content in this. So this is not a good way to, like, you can't use anything with this. You need to convert this into a JSON data. So once you convert into a JSON data, then you will be able to use it.
Okay.
That's why we did this. So now we have got it. Twice we have got it because it loaded twice. Right. So how do we represent this here? So we need a data or something like this, and let's start with like an empty data content, and I'm gonna do this data will be going into this dot set state, and I'm putting it as data here. So data is actually a what do you call this, it is an array. So I'm just going to put the data inside this array. Okay, now I believe we have got the state correctly set. So if I go to my pre tag and try to do, say, json.stringify and get this dot state dot data, I'll be able to see something like, okay, I don't want to see everything in one single line. I want it to be like two spaces, and pre doesn't have this nice formatting. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go to our CSS. I'll give a correct font family, like let's say gives you the right font family. Not only that, we need to give a special, like something nice. So border 1px solid. Let's give a dark border, and let's also give a nice background
Background
as well,
color.
like slightly nice background. Let's give some padding. Since it's code, let's give a line height of 1, and we should also consider giving some border radius. So that looks kind of nice, right, to read and do things. So now this is what is there in the pre-tag. This is what is there in the data that we have got. Now this data is an external data. We got it from another component. Okay, so from another service, we have got this one. So far, did you understand what we have done? This is the app.js code, and it always shows me an error. So let's restart. Boom. Okay, any questions? Let me also check the YouTube comments. Yeah, Crafty and Anish are there. Hey, so any questions, please go ahead and add your stuff. Okay,
Yes.
you clear?
Yes.
Now what we are going to do is, this uses two different things. Okay, so we have one state component, which is an internal storage for an application for a component, and we have the component, which is a life cycle of React class components. Now, none of these things are available in a functional component. So we are going to see how we can achieve the same thing here. Okay, so if we try to make this same application, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another thing. um, const app. It's not. It should not be app. Let's say func comp, and then we start with the same way. Now the thing is, I need. So this is the complete render function here. So like whatever we are returning here is the render function. We are just directly returning here. So if I'm going to return something, it is obviously going to be this whole part. Okay. So if I try returning this one, obviously it's going to say this dot state dot data is going to be nothing. Okay. So we need to have something like data here. And how are we going to use it? We have something called as a hook. So there is something called as use state hook, and this use state hook is what is responsible for getting us the content. Okay, so I'm going to create a constant which is data and set data, similar to our state and set state, and this will do the use state. So this use state will take a initial value. For example, here we have given an empty array. So the same way we are going to create an empty array here and save it. Now let's try to update this one. Boom. So we have got the initial stuff, right? So whatever we
Why
are
did
saying,
we write the function comp?
tell me, sorry, I did not understand.
Why did we write the
I'm
class?
converting this state component, class comp, into a state component with the same kind of technique. So let
Okay.
me do one more thing as well. So let me put app, and I'll also add a counter kind of a thing which has 10. Okay. Now if I do just this dot state, it's also going to show me this counter. So I'll just use state dot data alone, and I'll also say something like you have, say, this dot state dot count. If this counter is like mm, I need to do in two ways. Okay, seconds left, something like this. But this should be like a like a, how should I say? Based on if this counter is like 10. Okay, so this dot state dot counter. If this type is like a type of this dot state dot counter is a number, then I want you to use this one. Else, I want to use kaboom. Okay, let's try getting a emoji. We'll use two emojis for this. One is for, okay, so what happens is if this is not in use, you can see that there is kaboom coming here, right? And we need to make this in that way. Okay, so let's go to bomb emoji. I guess this one is alone enough, because for this we will use the bomb emoji, and for this one we will use the blasted emoji. I believe there is a blast emoji as well.
Collision.
I can only see, okay, it's bomb. So let's try boom. Collision. Okay, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so collision emoji. So if I use this one, so this you have got 10 seconds left, it says. So once this number is gone, it's gonna say kaboom or something like that. Okay, so we don't need a small kind of like this way. What we will say, if it is greater than 0, then we can do. I was planning to put this kaboom inside the state itself, which is not a good idea. So yeah, this dot counter has got like 1 second left. After the last second, it's gonna change everything to this way. Okay, that is exactly what we are going to do. Okay, so before that, let's see if there are any questions. Okay, no questions. Sure.
No.
Yeah, I do get this problem here in YouTube says that it is not receiving a lot of video. I guess it's with my internet connection. So maybe that could be the reason. Hopefully it doesn't cause the recording at least to go bad. So let's see. All right. Okay, now we have got this one. So how are we going to change this way? Like every 1 second, it is going to change something. So this needs to be happening only once. So I'm gonna do something like set interval, and then this will take in a function. So this dot set state I will use, and this dot state dot. Okay, so this is going to be the counter. This dot state. Whoa. -1. Okay, that should actually work. Set state. Okay, so let's cut everything. Oh, I'm not able to use this. There seems to be some issue. Just give me a second. I guess it's taking a lot of time. Oh, I know what happened. Look at this. There is like so many. It went in, like infinite loop. What I should have done is I should have given command 1000 or something like that. For every 1000 seconds, 1000 milliseconds, I need to do something. Yeah, I guess it's gone. So maybe I need to go kill this tab. Okay, folks, just keep in mind, in case if you are doing something like this, don't be crazy like me. Do this. At least don't try to like keep this thing running as well. Okay, cool. So we need to have that 1000. I believe I added 1000. Cool. So 10, 9, 8. Okay, that's happening. So this happens only once. Okay, but we need to do something else as well. So if this dot if this this dot state dot counter is greater than 0, then do this. Else we need to clear the timeout. So clear interval, and we need to get one thing, right? So const a timer equal to this one, and I'm going to do clear interval of timer. So this is a clearing function you need to give. So once this time is running, the running time is in finished, you need to stop it. So boom. Okay,
Oh.
that works, right?
Yeah,
So this
before
does
that it
not.
was starting again and again the counter.
No, it doesn't. It stops here. Okay, good that we understood okay what exactly happened. I was like thinking, why is it taking so much heat to my laptop and stuff like that? So these are the couple of things that you need to keep in mind. So this might screw up your computer in case if you. Okay, so this is exactly what you need to do. So we need to have another state for the counter part as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this one. I'm going to do it as counter, and this is going to start with 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this whole thing here and then paste this whole thing here. Now the only difference here is instead of the state.counter, I would be using just normally counter. Okay. Now the counter is here. Let's close this. Open the app.js again. Okay, cool. So we have got all these things already here, right? Kaboom. Great. I don't want this. I'll use func comp. Now if I save this one, it's going to transpile again. So it just says you have 10 seconds left and this is a functional component. No data has come in because we did not implement anything that we have to implement in the component dead mount. Okay, so what? So far we have done the state properties. So if we try to do something here, for example, let's go with app again. So in case if we want to do something here, uh, say we need to do something for the state. Okay, I'll create a button, or I will create a. I guess button will be the perfect thing. Okay, and I need to also show you how the state and stateless component versus state component, class component is different. So if I try to do like a handle bg change, so this is a function that takes in an event argument button, right? It might easily refresh the page. So e dot prevent default will stop from refreshing the page. Okay, and now here if you click on this, I need to update the state by putting let's say background. For now I'm just going to put false. So we are going to toggle this background. Okay, so background is going to be not this dot state dot background. Okay, did you understand what happened here?
Yes.
So what happens is, if this dot state dot background, then uh, I'll put dark, else light. Okay, so you have light. If I click on this, oh, it doesn't do anything. So what I need to do is I need to do the on click functionality and handle bg change. It does as this dot handle bg change. So the moment I click on this, this becomes dark. The moment I click on this, this becomes light. So based on that, I need to also add some classes to our app. So this dot state dot background, then light, else dark. So let's give a space here, because in both the ways we will be getting this one. So we have a light and a dark theme. So in our style.css, we have like dot app dot light will give a bg color of f5 f5 f5, and in case if it is app dot dark, let's give a bg color of this one.
That's cool.
Yeah,
But the font isn't visible.
let's change the font as well. Okay, we need to do something for the button as well. So for button, let's make it in light mode. So uh technically this should be in the body. So what we will do for app is, let's do something for the app. Position fixed, let's give left 0, right 0, top 0, bottom 0. Cool. Now if you do dark mode, everything is dark. Do light mode, everything is light. Let's give 15 pixels padding and you get this way. Cool.
No.
So the only difference is we need to make this dark button look a bit different. So that should have a background color of 000 and color of FFF.
You can
And
also add the hover effect. Hover
yes,
effect.
sure. So let's give a padding of 5 pixels, make it like big. 5 pixels, 15 pixels on the left and right so that it looks big. Border radius, we will add 5 pixels. So it looks like something like that. Border 1px solid hash ccc. That looks actually bad. So actually we'll get rid of the border. Cool. Now we need to have a hover option. So let's use button hover. That's a good idea. And so this should have a cursor pointer as well, so that it shows a hand when we hover it. Now, if we do a light mode, we can give a light mode view, something like that. So, so BGC will give the not exactly the light color, but this light color. Okay, that was crazy. And we'll give color as 000. So this kind of looks very terrible. So let's do CCC. Okay, that's kind of like better. And it is like abruptly changing, right? Let's do something like transition all 0.5 seconds linear. So if you do this, cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
So now the same thing, in case if you are inside the app.dark, what you need to do is the button's background color is going to be this one. Okay. And the button hover is going to be the other one. So we need to put app.dark again. And the hover will be this one. Okay, cool. Now let's try this. Dark, become light. And this, okay. I meant to do it in the opposite way. Okay, this is light. Okay, dark is actually going into dark to light, right? Perfect, right?
Yeah.
But this is not, I mean, like giving a pure black might not make any sense. So we can give like something like a light black so that it just goes into the dark mode. Cool. We can give outline none so that you don't see this outline. Don't do this because this is going to like screw up the what do you call this, the accessibility point of things, but this works. So now this is what we have done so far. So let's try to do the same thing. This is also using states and props and stuff like that. So oh wait, why are we doing this way? Transition all we gave here, the same way for the app, we'll give the transition to. Okay. Boom. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Okay. So now what we are going to do, let's go back to our app.js. And right, I'm just like, okay, now we need to do the same thing, like achieve the same thing for this particular, not not this is a functional component. Okay, so all we need to do is all these this dot state needs to go away. Okay, and now the problem here, change will also will go away. Okay, so we need to create all these things now. So we have data counter. So these are three different types of variables as well. One is an array, one is a number, one is a boolean. So let's change this into background. Cool. Okay, so we have background, we are setting the background, we are getting the background, all these things. Now we don't have this handle change. Let's copy this and we'll do the const handle change is this. So now here, if you see, this handle change doesn't have this dot because what do you call this one? Functional components will not have this. Okay, so now if I try to change this into func comp and see what's happening, I believe nothing will happen. So even the dark light will not work. So this will not be set state. Instead of set state, what we need to do is we need to do set background. And again, it should be not background, like, you know, set background as set not background. Oh, should be like this without this one. Okay, so if you click on this, so this one is working right now. So we still need to make this thing work. Okay, so this is just a way of like changing the state. Oh, sorry, let's quickly look at the comments. Thanks, Monish. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Vinayak. Thanks, Monish. Thanks, Mudit. Hey, right. And now we were able to do the change of states. So state wise, it is fine. Now we need to do something called as the loading of data and this timer part as well. Okay. So let's see how we can achieve that. So for the timer thing, it is supposed to be inside the component dead mount, and the fetching of thing also, it needs to be inside component dead mount. For in implementing component dead mount, what we are going to do is we are going to use something called as use effect. So use effect will be a function. It takes a function and a function called effect, and then we have a dependency array. Okay, now let's try to use the fetch here. Here we are not going to do this. We will be using a set data. Okay, so if I remove all these things, hey, that's cool. That's working, right? That worked.
Yes.
This is function,
What is
right?
use effect?
Use effect is like, see, this is anything that starts with use is a hook. So use state is a state hook. Use effect is a effect hook. What this effect hook does is, like, whenever something happens to the application, something happens to the component. For example, this is a life cycle change, property got changed or something like that. That kind of a thing that will change here. So that's exactly what is happening. Okay. So there are so many errors coming in. Let's refresh the page. Okay, this local storage is not a big deal, so just leave it. So these are the main things that I struggled with when I just came for the first time. So use background equal to false, and that we have done. So it starts with dark. Okay, now the only thing that we need to do is this particular stuff. So that is the set timeout. So let's copy this whole timer part and let's try to add it here. So there is no state.counter and there is no set state. It's going to be set counter and it's going to be counter -1. Okay, that is not good. Okay, cannot find set state of undefined. I'm not using set state. That's interesting. So I replace this whole thing. So let's put app here so that it transpiles again. So that works. So if I try to use, okay, before that, let me see if there is anything that I changed here. So this is clear interval, that is fine. We are doing a local variable, that's fine. So counter is greater than 0. Okay, that's the problem. So we are accessing this counter, but we are also setting this counter, right? So what we need to do is set counter might have a problem here. Okay, when should this change? This should happen only once at all. So I'm just gonna get rid of the whole thing here so that it gets it does only once. Okay, you could see that there is some glitch happening here. Okay, so let's try to fix that. So this needs to happen only once. So let's see how many times this is actually happening. So if I do a console.log use effect called, and I'll save this func comp. So it is getting called a lot of times. So if we try to use something like sending an empty dependency array so that it doesn't call a lot of times. So let's refresh this. Okay, still it is doing some crazy stuff. Okay, I need to kill this again. So let's make it as app. Come on. No, it's not even working. I know. Exit page. Boom. Let's refresh this page. So we get something like this, right? So in case if this use effect keeps getting called, we need to stop it then and there. Okay. So let's try to do um, func comp, the use effect gets called only once. But the only problem here is this is not getting updated at all. So we need to do something, basically some stuff. Okay. So what we need to do is we can try creating a use effect, a dummy use effect that actually runs on a state change, which is the state change will be counter. So let's see what it happens. Okay, here, okay, this is interesting. We are getting somewhere to somewhere, but I guess I might need Shivam's help here. Okay, looks like I need to refresh the page. Okay, let me try refreshing the page. I don't think this works still. It stops at 9 seconds. So every time the counter is changed, I want this whole thing to like restart or something like that. So let's do this way. Console.log. Okay, this seems to be really tough. Setting, okay, decrementing, like decrementing counter. Oh,
Going on.
decrementing 6, decrementing 6, decrementing 6. It stopped at 6 and 9. So it's going crazy now. Okay.
Code sandbox is a nightmare.
No, it's not code sandbox, it's use effect. So let's try putting counter here. Oh. And this should not be an interval, should be a set timeout. So let me try to change this into timeout. See what happens. Okay, that's interesting. There is a kaboom coming in and then something else is happening. Okay, that's going crazy. Okay, so officially I can say I'm not fit for converting anything into class component.
No.
Right, that day it was working, but not now.
There are
Happens
lots
every
of suggestions in the live chat.
in live chat. Okay, let me have a look. Okay, put the code in function and call in use effect and in interval. Also use some. Okay, set counter previous equal to return new value. That's actually the thing which I wanted to do. So we have set counter here. So let's say prev, and then we'll do prev -1. Okay, let's see what does this do. Wait, what? That worked very clearly. Vinayak.
Man
Thanks,
of the
man.
match today.
Yay. So I expected this will happen because I know that I will be able to do this. There you go. So that works. And it does the timeout as well. Okay, this is very interesting. So here, even though, okay, now I know what exactly I'm doing. So this counter value is going to be an asynchronous one. Set counter is an asynchronous call. So I cannot constantly rely on this counter. So that is a problem. So if I try to do this once again and clear everything, wait. That's not the thing. I'm still using app. So let's see if I'm using functional component. Worked. Perfect. Okay, that's great. So if I do console.log and do decrementing, let's see how long. Okay, that's actually not doing anything. And if I give a counter, okay, let's see. This needs to be changed. Let's change it to app and then change it to func comp. Okay, that works fine. So that was the problem. But should I use this counter here in this dependency graph array? So I'm just gonna say thank you, Vinayak. So that's great. That's super cool. Okay, so that's exactly what I was missing, and now I learned something new here. So there you go. We have actually converted the whole class component into a functional component with use effect and other things. And I don't think we need this one. So if I save this one like this, it still works, and this works fine. So I can get rid of this. So if I refresh this page, making sure I'm using the functional component part, 9, 8, 7, 6. Hey, we made it. I didn't
Oh,
know
that's
this
great.
alone will take so much time. Light to dark, dark to light. Boom.
That was super interesting.
It was super interesting and super nightmare as well. So that's like really a crazy thing that we did right now. Okay, so let's go on to the comments. Okay, we need a counter in the dependency. But Vinayak, I don't think we are doing that, right? Because only when we are changing, okay, if we are accessing the counter, only when we are accessing the counter, we might need it, right? So set counter is where we are going to access. That too, we are using with that previous value. I guess that should be all right, right? What do you think? So that's one thing which we need to think about. And yeah, okay, also I thought it's just these two things, and we'll be able to do it like within like 10-15 minutes. It went on like 45 minutes. Right, cool then. Okay, so I hope it was an enjoyable thing, and hopefully give this video some likes. And yes. Okay, so I guess I'll be talking to Vinayak in a couple of minutes and see what is happening in my office as well. He's my office mate. And
Oh.
right. Thanks everyone for coming in, and thanks a lot for your time, and hope everyone learned something new. So anything else you want to say, Sonali?
This was really insightful, especially at the end.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we totally tried to solve something and we got it solved. Woo. Thanks, Vinayak.
Yay.
Man of the match. Great. Okay, so thanks everyone for coming in, and see you all.
Bye bye.